Good evening, ladies.
Kavod Haraf, how are you?
Thank you very much. Baruch Hashem.
Good evening.
Oh, Hashem.
Okay. The internet is going a little bit slowly. Okay, hopefully this one is better. I switched it to a different channel. Okay. All right. So we're going to continue from yesterday. Keep moving along. Right, so it looks like the Bit Yosef we finished. So let's see what we got in the Shulchan Aruch. Yeah, it looks like we're done with the whole chapter. Wow, I didn't realize we finished it. Okay. I thought we were in the middle. So we're going to the next chapter. Kuf Yud Gimel. 113. Okay. So yeah, it says in the Tur here, Bracha Rishona v'hi avot, right? It's the first blessing, which is avot. We call that avot because it talks about the fathers, the forefathers, the patriarchs. Tanya, it says over there in the Braita, Minay Shalmim avot. Where do we know, right, that we say this blessing of avot, right? The first blessing. Yeah, I apologize about that. We're having issues with the internet here. Let's try again. So again, right, as we said, how do we know that we say the first blessing, which is Avot? Because it says in the Pasuk, Shenema, Habu Ladonai B'nei Elim, right? Ascribe to Hashem, the sons of the leaders, whatever. And then how do we know? How do we know we said the second blessing? Shenema, Habu Ladonai Kavod Ba'oz. It comes from this Pasuk. Ascribe to Hashem, right? Honor and strength, right? These are all from Tehillim, these verses. How do we know we say the third blessing, which is called Kedusha, right? The holiness. It says, so all these things that they're learning from this verse in Tehillim, I apologize. Oh my God, it's getting rocky over here with this internet today. Sorry about that. Let's see if we can continue. So anyway, right, as we said, the third blessing, and right. then we're going to the Potchin Be'Elohim Abraham. Right? We start first with the God of Abraham. Because it says Resh Lakish in the Talmud. Right? I'm going to make you into a great nation. Hashem tells Abraham. That which we say, right? The God of Abraham. And I'm going to bless you. That's what they say, the God of Yitzchak. And I'll increase your name. That which we say, the God of Jacob. You may think, right, that we should seal all of them, right? You seal using all their names. Talmud Lama bracha, right? But the verse says that it will be for a blessing, right? Becha chotamin. So what does that mean? We seal the blessing with Abraham only. We don't seal with the other patriarchs. And this blessing opens with Baruch and also closes with Baruch. Because it's the first blessing. And the other ones are a blessing which is juxtaposed to its right fellow blessing. Therefore, he says, and you hear me? Hello? Are you guys there? You guys hear me?
Yes, we do.
Okay, I'm sorry. It keeps going in and out. I apologize. Okay. Problem with the internet. I don't know what it is. So anyway, right, as we said, that this is the first blessing, okay. So Hilkach is therefore like this, and Potchot, the Baruch. Therefore, they don't open with Baruch. I'm sorry. The other ones, the following blessings, are all considered to be a blessing which is juxtaposed to its fellow. Hilkach. Therefore, he says, and Potchot beBaruch. Therefore, the other blessings don't start with Baruch. Only the first one does. And even though there's no blessing, there's no kingdom in the beginning, some say that the God of Abraham is like a malchut. Why? Because because Abraham, right, our forefather, was coronated to be the king of the world. Hashem appointed him to be king of the world. Because he notified, right, his kingdom, and his godliness, his mastery, whatever, right? The whole ba'olam to all people in the world. Some say that when it says the God was great and mighty and awesome, that's like kingdom. The lav dafka lashon malchut bainan. We don't really require the language of malchut, of kingdom, right? What is the language of kingdom and a blessing? When we say Eloheinu, right? That's kingdom, our God. I'm sorry, melech, right? We say melech ha'olam. That's what it is, right? Melech ha'olam means he's the king of the world. So, but the problem is that we don't have that in the Amidah. But he says, these words that we have in the Amidah are like kingdom also, even though we don't have the word melech in the Amidah itself. Okay, good. Like it says in the second part of Rosh Hashanah, Shema Yisrael, right? That when it says, listen, hero Israel, right? That's like Malchut, that's kingdom. Okay, so that's also right. You don't use the word king over there, but it's like kingdom. When it says Baruch Atah, Ishhe, right? You should like pause a little bit. Baruch Atah Hashem, pause. Right, the Tanya, because we learn in the Braita, Elu brachot sheshohin bahen ba'avot. These are the blessings that we pause in them. Right? Ba'avot techila v'sof, in the first blessing of the Amidah, right? Beginning and end. Uv'hoda'ah, and also Thanksgiving blessing in the end. Techila v'sof also, right? Beginning and end. Ve'im ba lishchot v'sof kol bracha. And if he comes to bow in the end of every blessing, we tell him not to do that, right? You're not supposed to bow in every blessing. Okay. Because we don't want to come and uproot the decree of the rabbis. Because we don't want everybody coming and saying, oh, you know what? Let me bow down in the place which I like, whatever makes me happy. You can't do that, right? You have to follow the rules. So therefore, the rule is like this, in the Amidah, wherever the sages said to bow, you have to bow. Wherever they didn't say to bow, you're not allowed to bow. So you got to make sure you know where to bow. So where do we bow in the Amidah? As we just said, right? We bow in the first blessing, beginning and end. And then also in the Hoda'ah, in the Thanksgiving, which is towards the end, we bow also over there, right? We say Modim, right? And then in the end of the blessing also we bow. So we bow 4 times, twice in the beginning and twice in the end. Okay, good. That's only the beginning of the blessing and the end. But in the middle of the blessings, there you can bow, right? Even in the other blessings. So when it comes to the beginning and the end, you can only bow in these 2 blessings that we mentioned. But when it comes to the middle of the blessings, you can bow also in the other blessings as well. Therefore, he says, so he says, the ones that have this custom, right, to bow all the way in Rosh Hashanah, they bow all the time. When they're saying the Amidah, Yom Kippur, and also Yom Kippur, when they say Zochrenu mi chamocha, when they say these pieces, they have to, if they do have this custom, they should erect their posture at the end of the blessing. Rabbi Tanchum, this is Rabbi, this Rabbi. Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi. Also another thing, right? Okay, that's already something else there. Let's see first bit Yosef, and then we'll come back. to this piece. Okay, so says Bet Yosef. Regarding what we just said, right, that the where do we know the sources for all these blessings, right? Where they come from? Where is this written? This is the source. Where is the source for this? It's in the beginning of the second chapter of Megillah, which is Yud Zayin Amud Bet. Rashi explains over there. Havul Adonai, right? Ascribe to God. He's et ele aretz, right? We want you to mention before him the great people of the land, right? Who are the great people of the land? They're the patriarchs. So therefore, right, that's how we know that we should mention the patriarchs in the first three blessings of the Amidah. Okay, very beautiful. So then he goes on, right? What about what it says, right? That we open with Elohei Abraham, the God of Abraham. The Perek Arbe Psachim. Where is that? In Arbe Psachim, in the Psachim Kuf Yud Zayin Amud Bet. And even though there's no kingdom, right? When you open there, Yesh Omrim, as we said, right? That Elohei Abraham. That when it says Elohei Abraham, Heve Kemo Malchut, it's like Malchut. It's like kingdom. Ken Katvu Tosfot. That's what it says in Tosfot. V'Arosh, Narosh, Perek Ketzad Mevarchim. That's the source for that. Then he goes on. Mash Katav Yesh Omrim Hayla Gadol Gibor Benorah. That which they say, right, that some say when you say, right, these things, the great and mighty and awesome God, that's like Malchut. Ken Katav Shama Rosh. The Rosh writes this. He brings you all the sources for all the things that the Torah said. When he says, right, Baruch Atah, he should bow down there, right? Bend down. You say Baruch Atah. I bow down on the first blessing to Tanya, because we learn in the Braita, Elu brachot sheshochin. It says in the Braita, these are the blessings that we bow on them. Where's the source for this? B'psal pek en ondin, right over there in the end of this perek. Tan Rabbanan says over there. The rabbis taught, Elu brachot shadam shoche be'avot. Right, these are the blessings that a person bows in the first blessing, techila v'sof, beginning and end. The Oda also Thanksgiving, right? Techila v'sof, beginning and end. And if he's coming to do in every blessing like that, beginning and end, right? We don't want that. We tell him not to do it. Says Tosfot. If you don't tell me, so let him bow, right? What's the big deal? In other words, why is it so bad to bow in a place where the rabbis didn't say so? What's wrong with that? The rest to say, he says, the reason is because we don't want to uproot the words of the sages. If the sages told you to bow to a certain place, only there you bow, not anywhere else. Because if you're going to bow also in other places, they're going to say, oh, well, everyone does like he feels like, we don't listen to the sages. Whatever he does, and therefore there's no decree of the sages. They also wrote a different reason. It also seems like you're being arrogant. What does that mean? Yeah, sorry about that. It keeps fading out.
It's okay. We can hear you.
All right, that's good. Thank God. Thank God. Thanks for your patience. So anyway, as we said, right, that the problem is like this, if you're going to bow everywhere you feel like, it's going to be like arrogance, like, oh, well, yeah, I do more than you, like I'm better than you, I'm holier than you. So we don't want that, we want it to be like one standard for everybody, so there shouldn't be no arrogant behavior, no conceited behavior. And this is the reason why we tell them, don't bow in a place where the rabbis didn't say so. Okay, good. That's what it says in Rabbeinu Yonah. Beautiful. Okay, so that's Bet Yosef. There's more. Okay, so it says also what the Torah said, that's only the beginning and in the end. But in the middle, he's allowed to bow if he wants to in the other blessings. It says Bet Yosef Ken Mashma B'Dikatan. That's how it implies, since it teaches Im Ba Lashuach B'Sof Kol Bracha. he comes to bow at the end of every blessing, ובתחילת כל ברכה, beginning of every blessing, ולא קטנה אם בא לשוח בשאר ברכות, but it doesn't say the other blessings, מלמדים אותו שלא ישחה. So it doesn't say in the middle, it only says in the beginning and the end. וכן כתב רבנו יונה, that's what it says רבנו יונה, בשם המפרשים, name of the commentaries, וכן כתוב באגרות מימוניות. It also says this in אגרות מימוניות, פרקי, וברבנו הגדול מרי אבוהב. This rabbi says, he asked a question about this. שבסימן קופטט, right, in chapter 109, כתב שלא יתחיל להתפלל אפילו שיוכל לשחוט כשיגיע לשליח ציבור למודים. He shouldn't start to pray, it says over there, even if he can bow when the שליח ציבור comes to מודים. ואם לא יהיה מכוון בתפילתו, if he's not going to be concentrating in his prayers, שיגיע לאחת מן הברכות, when he gets to one of the blessings, ששוכב בסופן, that he has to bow at the end, אבל באמצעיתם, when it comes to the middle ones, in the middle of them, those blessings, no, if not, we're not concerned about that. ואם לא יהיה מצד ההכרח, it's not going to be something which is necessary, שצריך לסמוך גאולה לתפילה. Right, that you have to juxtapose the גאולה to the prayers, redemption to the prayers. ובכאן נראה שאומר שיכול לשחוט באמצע. So it says here, it seems like that in this chapter, it seems like, also that he can also bow in the middle of the blessings. He should say whatever he wants. So really, the only thing that we're particular about is the beginning and the end. But when it comes to the middle of the blessings, you can do whatever you want, bow as much as you want. The rabbis didn't forbid that. Okay, so but the answers that therefore יש לפרש שזה דווקא קשור שוכב בתפילת מראש ועד סוף. יש לו רשות לשחוט, אבל שישחה באמצע ברכה בשחט. לתכלית מה זה אין לו לעשות. So he says, like the conclusion is, in this rabbi, Mari Avuhav, that that's only if he bows, the prohibition is only if he bows from beginning to the end, right? All the way through. But, right, when it comes to the middle, one second. Right, so again, right, I'm sorry, I didn't say it right. He says like this, right, that if you're going to go bow throughout the whole thing, that you have permission to do, but only if you're not going to do, if you're going to do in a selected places. In certain places in the middle, you shouldn't do it. So he has a little bit of a different approach over here, this rabbi. So right away, the Bet Yosef comes and argues with him. The Mipshat Lashon Rabbeinu, that from the simple language of Rabbeinu, the Torah, Mashma Vadai, the Bechol Gavne Yachol Lishchot. It implies that he can bow anywhere, as long as it's in the middle of the blessing. Sharei Katav Besamuch, because he wrote close by. Therefore, the ones that are accustomed to bow, right, in Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippurim and Yom Kippur, when they say Zachrenu, when they say these things, they have to erect their body there. When they get to the end of the blessing, so it implies that they were only bowing in those blessings. It says, therefore I say, so therefore he says, I think that the proper approach is like this, that he can bow right in the middle of the blessing, ben be'emtza kama brachot, right? Whether it's one blessing or several blessings, he can bow in the middle. Because as long as you don't bow in the beginning of the blessing or besofar or in the end, there's no concern. Because the decree of the sages in the beginning was that's the way it was. B'siman kuftet, not what she wrote in chapter 109. That if you can come to modim, if you get to reach modim, all the other blessings, sheshochin, they bow there. That when the shliach tzibur gets there, l'modim, itpalel, then he should pray. But if he's not able to reach that, only the beginning of the blessings, he shouldn't start to pray now. That's what we're talking about when he came late, right? That's what we were talking about over there. When he came late to the synagogue. Unless he has to begin in order to juxtapose the Geulah to the prayers. That's already something else. If he's doing it for that purpose, it's okay. Therefore, it says there, the reason is because we're concerned that maybe he won't be able to be so precise. That he should be in the beginning, in the middle of the blessing. When the Shliach Tzibur gets the modim. Rather, he may wind up being in the beginning of the blessing. You're not allowed to bow there. Or besofa, right? Or in the end, when he intends to get to modim, or lechat min habrachot, or the other blessings, the shochim ben that we bound them. Even though he's not able to be so precise, right? If he's going to be in the middle of the blessing, then he should bow if he's in the middle of the blessing. That's good. Because since he intends to get to the place where they bow there, it's already, not such a big chance that this is going to happen. To be weary of this, that he maybe won't get that place where they bow. And he won't also be in the middle of the blessing. He's going to be in the beginning or the end of the blessing. There, we're not allowed to bow. The Od Yesh Lomar says, furthermore, there is to say that even though he's able to bow in the middle, habrachot, the middle of the blessings, because it's not really the place of bowing over there. Shani, it's different. Because since all the people are bowing at that point, if he's in the middle of the blessing, bracha, it seems like he's obligated to bow there. And if somebody sees, right, that somebody's bowing there in the middle, that blessing, he's going to come to make a mistake. He's also going to bow in the middle of that blessing. He says, because of this, whenever it's possible, he shouldn't start to pray, right, in order to bow in Shliach Tzibur, with the Shliach Tzibur in the Modim, when he's in the middle of the blessing. And that which he wrote, therefore he says the ones that are accustomed Rosh Hashanah of Yom Kippur, right, in Yom Kippur, they do have to get up, right? They have to erect their body when they get to the end of the blessing. That's what it says in Tosfot. In the end of the first parak of brachot. ובפרק אין עומדין also over there, למד א' עמוד א', וכן כתוב בסמ"ק, also says in סמ"ק, וכתב the Talmud that the זוקפים בסוף הברכה, so he says the reason why we have to get up and erect our body in the end of the blessing, להודיע שאין קוראים בברכות, that it's in order to notify, right, to show, to display, that we don't bow in the blessings halalu in these blessings, but they do it in the middle. They do bow because it's mercies. Okay, interesting. Okay, so we're gonna see the Shulchan Aruch here. Let's see what's going on there. Okay. Says Shulchan Aruch. So he says, tells you now, right, more, precisely here, right, what has to be done. These are the blessings that we bow in them, right, in the Amidah. Right? Everybody should know this point. Ba'avot, right, first blessing, Techila v'sof, beginning and end, right? We bow. How do we do that? We say Baruch Atah, bow, Hashem, and then get up, right? Erect. That's how we do. And also then in the end, in the first blessing, Baruch Atah Hashem, bow, and then get up when you say Hashem, Magen Avraham. So when do we bow? When we say, right, Baruch Atah, we bow, and then Hashem, we get up. That's the first blessing. So we do beginning and end, right? Twice over there. But the other blessings, right, in the middle blessings, we shouldn't bow over there in beginning and end, right? Only in the first one, as we said. Also, right, in the Thanksgiving, right, which is the next to last blessing, before the last one, we bow also over there, right? Modin, when we say Modin, we bow. And then, right, Baruch Atah Hashem, we bow when we say Atah, right? Hashem, Atov Shimcha Ulecha Na'eh Leodot. So we bow twice over there in the Thanksgiving blessing. Twice.
I do have a question. So I'm sorry. With the Amidah, you're not supposed to look up. When you raise your head, can you look or no?
Well, the truth is that it says in the Zohar Kadosh that when you're praying Amidah, your eyes should not be open. They should always be closed, unless you're looking in the Siddur, If you're looking in the Siddur, it's okay. But you really shouldn't look up, like look down. Like, in other words, your eyes should be always down. Even though you're erecting your posture, but your eyes should be either closed or in the Siddur, one or the other. What's the reason why? Because if you're looking up and you're looking around during the Amidah, you're gazing at the Shekhinah, and this is not allowed. That's what it says in the Zohar Kadosh. So therefore, a person should be careful, Get used to it. Don't keep your eyes open during the Amidah, unless you're looking in the Siddur. That's okay. Or another way is if you're looking down, If you're looking down, it's okay. But once you look up and around, you're gazing at the Shekhinah. Not allowed. You should get used to that, That's a very important thing. Because the truth is, they say that, Lo Aleinu, Shem Yinachem, right? That when a person gazes at the Shekhinah, this causes him problems with his eyes, with his vision, sometimes. You're not allowed to gaze at the Shekhinah. So this is the reason why you shouldn't do that. Okay, so that's the issue, right? That has to be addressed by everybody. Good. So, but it says, even though we say regarding the other blessings, you shouldn't bow in the beginning and end, but in the middle of those other blessings, you can bow, right? As we said, that's allowed. So that's okay, if you want to bow over there. But the truth is, nobody does that today. I don't see anybody who does this, but technically speaking, it's allowed, whatever. If you really have this desire, to bow in the other blessings, just as long as you don't do in the beginning and end, right? That's the whole idea. Okay, I think we have one more Shulchan Aruch here. So he says like this, right? Hanoagim lishchot berosh Hashanah v'Yom Kippur. The ones who have this custom, right? By the way, today nobody does this, but I don't see anybody doing it. But in those days, there was a custom like this. Some people, what they would do is when it comes to Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, they would bow throughout the whole Amidah. They'd always be like bent over. The whole Amidah. Today, nobody does this, but whatever. I mean, technically speaking, there is a custom like this. So if you do have this custom, when you get to the end of the blessing, you have to get up, right? Because there you're not allowed to bow. So if you do have this custom, right, that you bow throughout the whole Amidah on Rosh Hashanah and Kippur, make sure that in the end you get up, because you're not allowed to be down at the end. So says the Rama here, says even though, right, in the Avot, in the first blessing, he bows at the end of the first blessing, but he says you do have to get up when you say Zochrenu, right, during the 10 days of penitence, Rosh Hashanah, because there, right, it has to be noticeable, recognizable that he's bowing because of obligation. So therefore, when it gets to Zochrenu, he should erect his body a little bit, right? Not a little bit, whatever. Yeah, a little bit, it says. He should erect his body. Why? Because then he should bow again to show that he's bowing because of the obligation and not just because of some custom that he has. Okay, very good. So I guess we'll stop there. We'll make it a little bit shorter tonight, Bezat Hashem, and Bezat Hashem. We'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully, the internet will improve. We'll pray for the internet. We'll pray for the peace of the internet. Be blessed as well. Health, happiness. Chazak u'baruch. See you tomorrow. All the best.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Bye.